Hello and welcome to Principles of Economics. What is economics? Economics is the study of scarce resources and making choices. During this semester, we will focus on micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of smaller components within our economy. We will emphasize understanding what firms and markets and consumers are all about. When we talk about macroeconomics, we're concerned about the whole, the big picture of our economy. We focus on things such as inflation and how does increased average prices impact your purchasing power. We look at unemployment. Why should you be concerned about unemployment? And we focus on economic growth. What are the components for economic growth? We know education is one of the key ingredients to economic growth. So macro, we look at those areas that impacts the entire economy. One of the things we like to do in economics is to work with models. Models are simplifications of the real world. It helps us to understand how we can take real world situations and break it down in a very simplistic way so that you can understand these various components. And two key models that we will look at, whether you're taking micro or macro, will be the circle of flow. The circle of flow helps us to understand the large portions of the economy. It shows us how money flows throughout the economy. And it also helps us how products flow throughout the economy. We'll look at the relationships to consumers and businesses and factor market and product markets. When we look at supply and demand, we will also try to understand how we set prices within our economy. Why is supply and demand important? What is the pricing mechanism? So we will learn both of these two models in micro or macro. Let's just focus a second on how this class will be taught. I think it's very important to look at a variety of critical areas so that you, the student, can get the most you can from a class like economics. There's no reason for you to be frightened of economics, as most students find themselves pushing away from economics. But I want to make you aware that economics is in your everyday life. Everything you do involves economics. You can't go home, you can't do things without economics. You've got to understand this subject matter. So I'm asking you to embrace economics as a way to improve your life, to develop your professional skills, to develop your family, and to ultimately become a very productive citizen within our economy. A dynamic component of my classroom are groups. I have found placing students into group settings to work together is a very effective way for students to learn the material. It also encourages students to be supportive and accountable to each other. Now, a good way to construct a group is to join with students that you know, but join with students that you don't know. The more unfamiliar students sometimes can give you a better learning experience. Now, the goal of this course is to help you to become a more critical thinker. I want to see you increase your ability to analyze and to communicate about important economic issues. Now, I believe that a good way to learn is by researching and analyzing and developing arguments of issues, both sides of the issues, pros and cons. This will help us to understand the current issues that we face in today's economy. Now, presenting your arguments in front of the group after you've completed your research is a good way for you to show that you clearly understand and that you have a command of that issue. Creating sound communications and presentation skills is most critical in studying economics. Now, we have to evaluate you, but we're going to evaluate you using a variety of different tools. We're going to use tests to evaluate you. We're going to use cumulative exams to evaluate you, PowerPoints to evaluate, team exercises. workshop settings. All of these various tools and methods will help you to understand the material so that you become a much better student when you leave this class. I believe this class is a very interactive class. This class will only work if you participate. This class will only be exciting for you when you read the assigned chapters, when you do the assigned homework, when you participate in class. So I structure my class by using groups. I believe that groups is a very effective way for you to learn a subject like economics. Because the areas that you find you may be somewhat weak in, your classmate, your teammate will be able to support and help you in that area. I find also working with teams can also lighten the workload, particularly as you take on your research project. I find teams is a good way for you to debate and to argue current issues so we can address both sides of the issues, the pro side of an issue, the con side of the issue. So as you engage yourself in this class, there's no doubt in my mind that you will find at the end of this course, you will have learned a lot, you will be very excited about this class, and you will find that you know more about economics than what you thought. What will be new to you, mostly, will be a lot of new key terms. And that's part of my job, is to help you to understand what many of these key terms mean and how you will apply many of these new terms throughout your life. The courses you're taking now, whether you're a business major or a non-business major, you will find that many of these terms you will see on a regular basis. You'll find you'll have a better appreciation as you read on the internet, business news, as you watch TV. You will find that when reporters are talking about our economy and the challenges that we're having, whether it be our national debt that we're struggling with, our deficits, whether the money supply, whether we are faced with very high unemployment at this point. When you hear these very familiar terms, you will be able to say, ha, I now understand why this is very important to me. And you will also be able to progress in your work as you begin to interview for your next career. And as your new manager sees how productive you are and how knowledgeable you are about the economy, you will be the person that they will want to bring on board. Now, I can't teach you everything in an hour, 15-minute, 2 times a week class. So it's going to require that you do readings on your own, that you read the assigned chapters, that you read the current events as the Wall Street Journal, Business Week, Newsweek, Forbes, Fortune, The Economist, and many other helpful magazines and newspapers. There are so many different sources that we have in our library. We have a very productive librarians who are able to assist you as you research your papers. Now, I will assess you because you're going to learn a lot of stuff. So I need to make sure that you are grasping and understanding much of this information. So I will give you tests on a frequent basis. You'll have a cumulative final exam. We'll also have PowerPoint presentations that you will need to make in class. And your classmates will actually evaluate you to see whether or not they understand what you're communicating to them. And this is always a very good measurement to have your peers evaluate you. But at the end of the day, I want you to come to my class with an open mind. If you join me with an open mind, you're excited about learning something new, you carry out your part. You do the job, meaning that you do what's necessary so that you can be very successful. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll be successful. We'll have a very fun class. You'll learn a lot, and I'll learn a lot from you. Looking forward to seeing you. See you soon.